Texas sweeps the Aggies with 3 straight one-run victories. And, man, this season that Texas has put together, 19-2 in conference play. Listen, I'm here to eat my crow. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Every time I've picked against Texas this season, I have been just so incredibly wrong. So, listen, I had some people reach out to me via DM. They're like, man, you should take a selfie and throw of you throwing the horns and throw it on social media. I'm like, I'm not going to go that far, but I will give you one here today. Here's a hook 'em for you, okay? Here's a hook 'em for you.
I'm on screen grab it.
I was wrong.
With an LSU hat on.
I was wrong. Yeah, weird enough. But I was dead wrong. That's for the Texas folks. I was dead wrong. I'm happily eating my crow. I went bold with a pick. The script was indeed written, but it was written for the Longhorns to sweep that ass, and Jim Schlossnagle beat his old team. I mean, Harrison, they just keep doing it. No Jared Spencer, no biggie. Somebody else will step up and fill in. I mean, I guess the question will be moving forward, have I learned my lesson? Have I learned my lesson with Texas? Because I've picked against them 3 times now in series, and all 3, obviously, they have won. So, dude, thoughts on this one? I mean, it was great baseball. They were great games. But Texas at home just finding a way like they've been doing all season.
Chris, this is the first time I picked against Texas, I think, this season. So people take that with a grain of salt. It felt like that moment when, injuries are mounting. You got the hottest team in college baseball, I believe, coming in. Just kind of, it felt like a little bit like this is that moment that, A&M kind of gets over the hump and beats Texas, but then Texas goes on a great postseason run and A&M doesn't. It felt like that kind of storyline situation for me from a health standpoint too. But I mean, I said it in our predictions. I said, I would not be surprised if Texas wins this series at all. It would not surprise me winning at home, the way they're playing. Someone always stepping up and finding a way, and they did just that, Chris. Someone stepped up and found a way in every game. I mean, I'm giving game 1 stepping up award for Texas, Tommy Farmer the 4th. I mean, your first home run of the season against your rival in game 1, that was the difference maker. I mean, late in the game, I don't know how much bigger of a situation you can get than that. Obviously, I think Dalton Beck's maybe is a little bit bigger, but I mean, talk about just timely hitting and just stepping up clutch when your team needs you most. After you move a guy from the bullpen to a Sunday role, he picks it up and transitions super well in Ruger Rojas, and then you move him from Sunday to Friday night. Friday night, replacing your ace who's hurt, he's injured, he's out, and he goes out and deals 5 2/3, 5 hits, no runs, only 3 strikeouts, no walks, but he let his defense play for him. I mean, he did everything he needed to do. The Arm Farm in Austin, Texas, I will say it as much as I need to. The Arm Farm in Texas, Chris, is the real deal. It's legit. It doesn't matter who he puts in. It doesn't matter. They get the job done. And in the words of Max Wiener, dominate the damn zone. That's what they do. And that's what they did all game 1, and it felt like all series. I mean, Max Grubb's coming in, doing what he does best and coming in out of the bullpen, just being a stopper. He gives up 1 unearned, but outside of that, just 1 hit. But Chris, Dylan Valances, I've been saying it. I've been preaching it all season long.
Didn't he pitch in all 3 games?
I don't think he pitched in game 3, did he? He did not pitch in game 3.
Okay, maybe he didn't in 3. Okay.
He was on the mic in game 3. I think that's for sure. But no, just like I've been high on him so much this season, and just how poised he is, Chris. As polished,
he's not a freshman at this point.
Confident.
Like he's not a freshman at this point.
Experience-wise, Chris, he is a junior.
Right.
It feels like he is a junior,
and he carries himself that way.
And he does. I mean, the kid's 18 years old. He's pitching like a junior in college. Like this is his 3rd trip in the SEC, and I mean, he's got 10 saves, Chris. That's more than double anyone else in the SEC. There's like 4 or 5 guys I think in college baseball that are tied at 5.
By the way, Harrison, real quick, it was Max Grubbs that went 3 straight games.
Max Grubbs did, yep.
3 straight games. I mean, nails.
Yeah. I mean, because he came in and closed game 3 to get his 5th save. I mean, think about it, Chris. They have 15 saves between 2 guys. I mean, Dylan Valances got, number 11 in game 2. I mean, It's crazy. I mean, he only used 8 pitches too. I mean, it's just after going 40 pitches in game 1, he goes 8 pitches in game 2. He's like, I'm ready. You need me? Call me. I'm in the bullpen. Like that's literally his mindset. Like, I'm ready to go. And, they know their weapons, their bullets, their arms, their rockets in the bullpen. And it's always been this season. Max Grubbs, Dylan Valencia, and Thomas Burns. And I thought Thomas Burns looked really good too, even though, the stat line doesn't really follow that exactly. But Luke Harrison, just the start that he gave them. And Chris, talk about starts. Texas A&M, what more can you ask from them out of the starting pitching? Ryan Prager, one of, I think, his better starts, even with a low strikeout number of 3 strikeouts, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. And then you have game 2.
I called the Prager legacy game. It just didn't finish.
Game 2, Justin Lampkin goes 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 runs, 1 earned, 8 Ks, 2 walks. And then game 3, Miles Patton goes 5 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned, 5 Ks, 2 walks. Like, you can't ask for more against this Texas lineup out of your starting pitching. It's just the offensive lack of production that let them down, because Texas's bullpen and starters just did such a good job of keeping them off balance, making them swing at their pitches and expanding the zone and getting themselves out, making the Texas A&M lineup get themselves out. It was incredible to see it, because we didn't know which way it was going to go. Whether it's, is this hot A&M lineup going to keep scorching pitchers and just barreling baseballs and, putting pressure on teams, or was Texas going to come down to their home turf yet again at Dish Falk and just slam the door and say, hey, that ain't happening here? We saw it happen at Tennessee. We saw it happen at Arkansas. Buddy, y'all had another thing coming. It was so fascinating to see that. And just, like I said, pre-series, when we talked about it, we had 2 series this week, Chris, and I said it, about how if you want to watch the best college baseball, you want to watch and get into college baseball, this is a series in which you can watch with the numerous amounts of storylines, the numerous amounts of future MLB talent, and just the pedigree of just how these guys are playing, the seasons that have been shaping up, let alone the head coaching situation. You couldn't have really got more than they got, than we saw, except for if, you got a couple walk-offs or whatnot. But
the series delivered. It did.
Series delivered, Chris.
It delivered. Maybe not from the, maybe if we had like a rubber match Sunday, but the quality of baseball delivered, no doubt.
Yeah, and Chris, it was so fascinating to see how it delivered, because, like I said, it was always a different guy. It felt like for Texas. Ethan Mendoza out of the leadoff spot, DHing 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and then game 3, Mendoza has an RBI, but it's Rylan Galvan and Adrian Rodriguez, who
A-Rod was huge in that
big
game.
moments.
How about the defense we saw all weekend?
I was about to say, Chris, the defense. You want to talk about a web gym? You want to talk about a defensive clinic? We saw it on both sides.
That Sorrell catch was wild.
The Sorrell catch, the Terrence Keel, the 3rd catch, the Jay Slavolette catch,
A-Rod catch,
the A-Rod catch. Let me throw this out there, Chris. Ruger Rojas swinging bunt in front of the home, gets it like a shortstop and throws it across. No biggie. Pitchers are athletes too. That was one of the most underrated plays, I think, of the series. Just so smooth. And it was like this kid had to have grown up playing shortstop. It was just like, it was such a phenomenal play that I feel like got overlooked, because it's like, oh, of course, Yeah. Like that was just, it was an all-around clinic, I think, that just delivered as a series as a whole. That, obviously A&M fans are pissed that they got swept, let alone lost the series. But it was such a great series for college baseball. I think that, it's going to propel Texas to continue to play in the which that they're playing, which no matter what, like next man up, find a way, whatever it takes. That's kind of feels like their mindset. Obviously, they're proving that. 3 1-run ball games, Chris.
I want to pose that to you. And I want you to tell me, Harrison, if this is a hater take. Okay. Just so brace yourself. And that's totally fine. But I'm simply posing the question. Does it worry you that, because here's my thing. This is baseball. I don't care how many games you play. You are going to get cold. So I think like my only concern with Texas at this point is that they're going to get to the end of the season having not been cold. You'd rather be cold at the end of April than the end of May. Because if you get cold at the end of May, your season's over.
But getting cold at the end of April,
is that a valid concern? Is that a valid concern?
I guess from a national standpoint, yes, but as a clubhouse and a squad,
I'm not saying for them internally. I'm saying for us that just like talk about it. You're asking. I'm asking myself. Okay, I had egg on my face. I'm totally fine. Like I would we would love nothing more than to see Texas and Omaha. I want to make that very clear. I am just
Here we go, Texas homer, Chris.
See, I can't win either way. I'm expressing concern from the Texas perspective that it's like, dude, how long can you just keep winning one-run games? How long can you keep depending, Harrison, on the same 5 arms? Like, are they going to be able to do this through June? That's the only thing where I'm like, again, when you're hot, but everybody gets cold. And I'm not saying like you got to hope that the team loses and goes cold. I'm not saying that, but that's what makes it so fascinating what they've done. I mean, and that's why I picked A&M. It's like, dude, now you're without your ace. Now, and you're without Big 12 Player of the Year, Max Ballou. Like, give them credit. I mean, the way they keep on keeping on, that's my only concern if I'm a Texas fan, is like, can we keep this going through the next 2 months? That's the big question for them.
Big question for me
I probably sound like a hater. I promise I'm not trying to be. That is my question with Texas, though.
The big question for me is obviously, losing Max Ballou in the lineup that he is, but like people are stepping around him. But it's like, how can that happen every single game? Like it has been, as postseason comes on and the teams that you're playing only, the games get tougher and tighter and harder, and each at bat and pitch means more.
And I not to cut you off, I will say this though, because somebody in the comments, I will give Texas this credit. Even when Texas has not been red hot this year, they have found ways to win. I will give you that. They just haven't lost when they've gone cold this season, but it's still just, I don't know. It's still something I think about. It's like, man, because Harrison, in baseball, like, hey, when you're hot, you're winning all those one-run games. And when you're not, it's like you're losing all those one-run games. So I kind of just wonder, like, man, I mean, listen, it is wildly impressive. Max Wiener is a god amongst men when it comes to pitchers. He is a god amongst men. No, he is not mortal when it comes to coaching pitchers. I mean, it's insane. I thought if they were middle of the pack in ERA, that'd be a great year. And they're you could argue the best pitching staff in the conference. It's nuts,
I mean, most clutch check. I think you could obviously argue that too. But Chris, like for me, when you say that about the rest of the season, can they keep doing this? Like you lose reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, preseason Golden Spikes watch list in Max Ballou. You lose your Friday night guy in Jared Spencer. Someone continues to step up every single game in some way on both sides of the ball, and I mean it's so fascinating to see. And just they are built for the moment. Texas is built for the moment. The way that they have someone step up, no matter what, no matter who it is in these games, all these one-run games, Chris. I would love to see how many. I'll go back and look if I can find it. How many one-run games that they have won, and how many of their wins have in SEC play have been on one-run games? Because it feels like 1, if not 2 run games have been the majority. And just that's that clutch moment. That's what's going to get you over the hump. That's what gets teams to Omaha and with a chance to win a national championship. And Texas has that, and they're built different. And it's just crazy to see. And, talk about being built different, Chris. You look at Game 3. Guess who stepped up in that? Wasn't Jason Flores starting Game 3. It was Andre Duplantier the second, going 5 2/3, 3 earned. I mean, he only one strikeout, but like he was effective. He's effective in the bullpen around. They pieced it. They were so smart, obviously, and how they executed that strategy. And it's just one of those moments where I don't think that they're going to cool off in a sense of like get cold. They could cool off, maybe they drop a 1-run game, here or there. But this team, it just feels like I said, built for the moment. And that this pedigree of winning these 1-run games, they play so well at home. Obviously, you can argue that a lot of their big series, most of their big series are at home, which helps. But like, win anyway. It doesn't matter what your schedule is. Win anyway, and they play so good in front of that crowd. They feed off it. They love playing at home. Like obviously,
and they'll be at home all postseason too.
And they'll be at home. They'll be at home all postseason. Regional, super regional.
Hey, by the way,
Chris, it might feel like a home game in Omaha with how many Texas fans are going to be there.
Before I forget, because I just did the math, I just calculated it. If my math serves correct, Texas is 10-2 in 1-run games this season. They are 8-1.
Under 3 losses.
They are 8-1 in 1-run games in SEC play. The irony of this stat: their first game of the season was a 1-run loss. So,
and extras to
since
Louisville.
Since then,
they blow out Ole Miss 10-0.
But they are 10-2 in 1-run games, 8-1 in SEC one-run games. I mean, that's
the thing for me Chris, to watch out is, or to keep an eye on is, the depth. And I've talked to sources really close to Texas about just like the depth of, the pitching staff's going to get tested because, like you said, it feels like it's the same 4 guys out of the pen, same 4 horses. Max Grubbs, Dylan Valancis, who else? Thomas Burns and Duplantier II. I mean, obviously you have Ethan Walker and Grayson Saunier, but like it feels like those same horses. Like the number of innings that they have on them, it's like they're so good that it feels like they don't have to be as deep. But like at some point, is that going to catch up to them, and when and how? So that's the one thing for me to continue to monitor. I've continued to monitor that past few weeks, but the rest of the season into the postseason.
Harrison, in closing, thoughts on A&M? How does this change the outlook? Is this still a team that you think of as a postseason contender? Because I'm torn on it. Because on one hand, this is what I think makes they showed, I think, over the weekend what makes them so tough. They got 3 horses they can roll out there. Like you put this team in a regional as a 2 or 3, brother, you are getting 3 studs in the regional. On the flip side, though, I just – and they've won 3 of the last 4 series. But, I don't know if it's a sure thing. Dude, I mean, it's like a must-win this weekend against LSU. We'll talk about it Thursday. They got LSU at home. I believe they have Mizzou still.
So Chris, they play LSU at home.
3 wins, and then
Missouri
at Georgia.
At home.
And then they play at Georgia. But they got to go to Georgia. So, dude, I don't think A&M postseason is a sure thing.
I mean, Chris, they're 8-13 in conference. I think you have to win 1 versus LSU at least.
Got to sweep Mizzou.
Sweep Missouri, so that's 4. That's
12 and just win one against Georgia.
And I think you got to win. I think you have to win 1. I think honestly you have to win 2 in the tournament
to feel good about it. At least to feel good about it.
And honestly, that's absolutely doable with the horses they have in their frontline starters and just the talent they have in the lineup. I mean, I think like you asked. I mean, what is my thoughts on A&M of the series as a whole? I thought I think they left too many runners on base, but I think they played very well overall. I know that's not going to sound great for A&M fans, losing the series, let alone getting sweep, but you leave 9 guys on in game 1, you leave 8 guys on in game 2, and you leave 10 guys on in game 3. That was the difference in the series. It was the Texas pitching staff doing that. But the talent they have in the lineup, obviously, and how well they're playing as a whole the last 4 weeks, it's there. He just ran into a buzzsaw in Texas. I mean, it was just they got slammed the door in their face in this series, but they're so talented. And, Caden Sorrell, I thought he had a hell of a series. I mean, honestly, I don't think, the stat book's going to show that because game 2 went 0-4, but just he felt so important to the series, keeping it close with just the plays on offense he had and the defensive gems he had as well. I mean, he's just so uber talented and just came out the gates hot coming back from injury. And he's so fun to watch, Chris, but I don't think it's really dampered, the postseason hopes as much as A&M fans think because you don't win a game. But you got to, like you said, you got to go win one at LSU. You got to win one versus LSU, 1 at Georgia. You got to sweep Missouri, and you got to win 2 in the tournament to get in. And then if they get in the tournament, Chris, you want to talk about last 4 in, for last 1 out? It's gonna be like it could happen. It could absolutely happen. Texas A&M could make the NCAA tournament, finish the season strong, hot, going in healthy with the horses they have in the stable. And postseason, it's a 0-0 record. Nobody cares. And the 3 horses they got in the stable of Friday, Saturday, Sunday wouldn't surprise me if they made it to Omaha.
And we're only a few short weeks away from this, but that when the bracket drops, if A&M does that and they do what they need to do, I would imagine they're going to be pitting this to where we could potentially see Texas and Texas A&M in Omaha. They will not set them up against each other. I think they would love.
They did last year.
Well, that was different because they were Big 12. But anyways, it's A&M's got to get there first.
I think they can. I still think they can.
I have my doubts. They can. Tough.
You just can't leave runners on base. I said same thing Tennessee did. Yeah. They left way too many runners on base, and that was the difference in the series.
Yeah, tough to get swept there.